Welcome back, everybody. We are on part 2, episode 172. It's time for the hot tags of the week. A couple things that are pretty important that are happening right now. Number one, Rey Mysterio is gone. He might be joining Lucha Underground. He's got some other deals that he's working out. He's working several grand per appearance. I think that I had read something like, what was it, like 10 grand or something for each thing that he does? 20 grand maybe? Crazy, but big enough star. I've made no reservations whatsoever that I'm not the biggest Rey Mysterio fan, and I'm kind of happy that he's gone. So, what do you guys think about this? Are you happy he's gone? Do you think you're going to check him out at whatever else he goes to? What's the best plates for him, etc., etc.?
Breaking news, Rey Mysterio injured already.
This exactly, I remember a few months ago we were talking about how WWE forced him to sign a contract or something like that because he didn't appear for essentially his entire previous contract that he signed. And a part of me believed that and at the time they were talking about how he was going to go to AAA and he would work per appearance, kind of what Brock Lesnar has. And in my mind, I was like, first appearance, he's going to fucking injure himself. But I mean, shoot, if he's working for 10 grand an appearance, I mean, fuck, good for him, I guess. I mean, not very many people can do that after leaving the WWE, and fuck, he probably could. So if he works 50 a year, 500 grand isn't too bad, though it's not WWE money. Still, he's old. And for some reason, some people tend to do better after they leave WWE. So I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow pulls out better matches if he's not injured. So good for the guy. Actually, fuck him. He's gay.
Well, for the star power of Rey Mysterio, this is definitely small change that they're paying for a guy like him. But, with injuries that he has, I don't think he could do anything more than a short-term deal. Yeah, that's right. I'm just reserving back to making short jokes about Rey Mysterio. I don't have anything more to say about this. Rey Mysterio has not been relevant in God knows how long. All of his most recent WWE comebacks have been so pointless. When you get to the point where you're wrestling in a t-shirt, I don't need to see you anymore. So good riddance to him. I mean, I don't wish anything bad on him. I wish he would just stay home with his family and live out the rest of his life doing something else, selling rotten tacos or something.
Wigo, any thoughts on Mysterio? You want to see him maybe in a different role instead of wrestling, if he can book or something?
I'm done with Rey Mysterio, and I had fun with his career. I enjoyed totally buying into that Eddie Guerrero storyline at the time. I enjoyed his title win. Didn't enjoy his title reign so much because he was probably the worst champion ever. Fuck me, losing. I think he must have lost every match during his title run except for the title matches. It was awful. But Rey's given me some good moments. I think the last time I really enjoyed him was against Cody Rhodes. I don't know if the IC belt was on the line or not, but that was a fun match. I remember that almost stealing the show at Mania. So I'm a big fan of Rey Mysterio, not so much towards the end of his career. I think he should just hang up the boots, but he'll probably be in Lucha Underground next week.
I think the last Mysterio match I enjoyed was him against Dolph Ziggler.
The last one I recall him having was a Fatal 4-Way at Night of Champions between, I think Cody Rhodes, him, Ziggler, and Christian, maybe.
Hey, at least he did one important thing before he left. He made Roman look strong.
Somebody leaves, somebody comes back into, or not back into, I guess technically because he was in there for a jobber match or something like that, but now there are even more reports that Samoa Joe is going to be coming to WWE once he gets done with ROH. He's got 4 appearances, and the last one ends right before WrestleMania. So, of course, there's some people that are like, he's going to appear at WrestleMania. No, he isn't. Let's get that out of the way. He's not going to fucking show up at WrestleMania.
Why would he show up at Mania, though? It's it's a fat guy. A fat guy's making his way to the ring who nobody knows.
Right. It's the guy that we haven't figured out what trademark name we want to give him yet. I don't...
He's fat.
I don't know when we'll see him. I'm assuming he'll go down to NXT and do that kind of whole thing, but... Are you guys down for this? We talked a little bit about Samoa Joe before, so I'm not expecting it to be going crazy about it. But do you want to see him in there? Any kind of name ideas that he should have? Anything weird?
Jamoa.
Jamoa so.
I don't know what name you would give something like him. Because with Kevin Steen, he was using his real name, and now he's going by Kevin Owens. I mean, you could go with Samoa or something like that.
You can't go with his real name, though. Nufala Joel Sinoe.
He could be Kevin Jones.
I could see him trying to do something close to his real name. Like,
I've got it. So, do you guys remember when Kane and Matt Hardy were feuding?
No.
And, okay, well, they feuded. And Kane had a family reunion for Matt Hardy. And he had a bunch of different Matt Hardy boys come down and kick the shit out of him. One of them was Fat Hardy. And that's who Samoa Joe played. So he can come back as Fat Hardy.
Wait, you really did?
Yeah.
he was Fat Hardy?
Yeah, there's a segment where Kane has a family reunion for Matt Hardy.
This is a real thing? Samoa Joe actually played a character called Fat Hardy?
Yes, he did. It was
every argument anyone out there has ever had with me about the whole Joe being fat thing is officially done. All right, Arkell Johnson, or whatever the fuck your name is, you listening? All right, it's over. He's fat.
Yeah, he is pretty fat.
For those guys looking for it, summary, Kane was doing that whole Lita feud with Matt Hardy, and they did some segment where he just beat the shit out of a bunch of fake Hardy boys. And it was great, because he said, "A Hardy boy returns tonight." Everyone was like, "Oh shit, Jeff's coming back." Nope, you got Fat Hardy.
Oh man, I want to check out this Fat Hardy thing. I have to bookmark that later. Any other opinions about Samoa Joe before we move on?
He's fat.
There we go. Let's see here. WWE Network is going to be disabling viewing on multiple devices at the same time, and we talked a little bit about this on our own, but we're going to rehash some of those opinions. I'm of the opinion that I think this is a bad idea. I understand why they're doing it on a business end, because they don't want people to share accounts and stuff like that, but to me, there's way too many instances where people could legitimately have to use this or just want to use it and shouldn't be penalized for it. I mean, I can think of a situation where somebody might be bedridden. Maybe they're checking it out and somebody else just wants to watch something in a different room or something. I don't know, or even something like that. Say I've got two family members and they one wants to watch Monday Night War and one wants to watch Legends House. You can't watch it at the same time. You can't do that. Well,
then they should have two accounts. That's not their problem. That's your problem.
But doesn't
that's not something that they should service? I mean, they're giving you one thing to watch. That's what you're paying for with your $9.99. And as far as your whole thing with someone being bedridden, that's the person's fucking responsibility to be sitting in the room with the bedridden person and leaving them there by them fucking self to watch wrestling fucking depressed. What the fuck?
$9.99.
You don't deserve to be watching WWE Network in that fucking case.
Somebody's gonna send a message out. They're gonna be like, "Hey, I've got this whole this person with a crippling ailment or whatever," and they're gonna be like, "Wait a minute, that sounds depressing. You don't deserve to be watching it." Now we're gonna cut your subscription. We don't want to hear about this. I don't know. I just think that's.
The problem is that you had it before. If it was never like this before, no one would ever have complained or had a problem.
That's one of the issues.
The thing is that you had something and now they're taking it away, and boo fucking who. All right, I get it's something nice that we had that we could do that was extra. I am yet to hear one purely justifiable reason why you would absolutely need to, and if you need to, why you can't just get two accounts. My view on this, okay, maybe there are reasons you need it, but if you do, you should have to pay. Do a model like Netflix does. Mm-hmm. Netflix, you can get your standard account for $8 or $9 or whatever it is that you get your you get to view one stream at a time, but then you can pay another I think $3 or $4 and you can get two screens at the same time.
Here's the thing that confuses me about Netflix, and I may have been grandfathered in, and in that case, fair play on their part. I let multiple people use my Netflix account, and I've not been penalized for it. I've not been.
It's not about logins.
I can put my device on in my room and have someone watch it over at my grandma's house. So I don't know.
Do you have it set up so more than one person can use it at once?
I'm not paying for it.
You might be, and you don't know it. You might want to look at your account information.
Yeah, I remember.
I've been paying the same price for my Netflix forever. I was even grandfathered in when they upped the price.
See, I could see it less being something an issue where there's two people are logged in at the same time. I could see this being a way that they implement this rule, and then they can use that if they ever come across somebody who's doing that for a streaming purpose.
Makes
streaming
sense.
Purpose. There's websites that have always streamed pay-per-views and stuff like that. And if somebody out there, I don't know if anybody does or not, gives somebody like a big passcode kind of a thing, and it's like you donate, $1 towards the network, and you can watch it at any time and log in at this point, when like that kind of stuff. That might be their excuse to just be like, look, we already told you can't log in multiple situations. We have this new rule, and that's on top of the idea that you're broadcasting it to other people and stuff, because it's not exactly the same as if you are recording it from a pay-per-view feed and putting it online. So it would have to follow different rules of like taking it down. I mean, it's basically the same. You're stealing from us, but that's another tool in their toolbox to be able to get those people taken down.
My whole outlook on the entire situation is, should they restrict it? Yes, definitely. You need to have guidelines, you need to have restrictions. As much as they did? No, but they can work on that later. Most likely situation is it's not going to be that big of a deal, and everyone will get over it, and WWE will win. But
it's a lot of Chicken Littles crying about the fucking sky falling. It's a moderate inconvenience, and you know what?
That's
if
my
you don't
attitude.
like it, submit your feedback. If enough people comes to say it, maybe they'll switch it back.
Mm-hmm.
It's an inconvenience to me, but I can appreciate why they're doing it. So I'm not like up in arms about it. I just think they shouldn't.
I know what you mean. Like, it's not one of those things that they're implementing, and it's just kind of like, dude, what the fuck? Like, it makes sense. I still kind of think they don't necessarily need to 100%, but I can't be like, well, it's the same as if they were to say, I don't know, make it to where half of each show is a commercial or something. Oh, wait, they do that anyway. But, like, if they start adding too much stuff that takes away from what it was at the beginning, then people are going to get really annoyed. If you start, well, we're not going to have anywhere near as many original shows as we kind of promised to begin with that aren't just documentaries, because, oh my God, how many documentaries can you watch? And then they start adding the commercials to it, and then they start adding this, and then they take this away, and then they change this show, and then whatever. It'll end up adding up, but we're not at that point yet. What would be like the one thing that they could do that would make you guys unsubscribe?
Take away the pay-per-views.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's well, if they take away the pay-per-views, they're
take
done.
away the pay-per-views or make it any more than $30.
$20 is my cutoff.
I could maybe do 25. I'm saying like 30 or above is where I'm like, blah.
What about you, Drew?
$9.99 is my limit.
Now, I'd pay less for
What if
the
it was
WWE
10?
Network if they took away the pay-per-views, because I still enjoy NXT.
Yeah, if they went back to the WWE Classics on Demand model, then that was only like, what, $4 a month, I think? That was really cheap.
Here's the thing. If they did take away the pay-per-views, I'd still be heartbroken about getting rid of the network just because of how much I enjoy NXT.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if you don't show them with your money, you can't show them at all.
Very true. The biggest hot tag that we have to talk about is kind of something that just came out of the blue. It's popped up here and there throughout the years, but now people decided to make it an issue again. Bill DeMott, who used to be a couple of different names in WWE and WCW and whatnot, is one of the primary trainers that WWE's used for their developmental territories and stuff for years and years and years. But the hashtag Fire Bill DeMott has been trending, and he's been accused again of everything from discrimination, racism, sexism, unsafe practices, being really just an all-around dick. There's stories that Rusev had a broken neck and he was kind of rough with him, slapping people in the head when they've got concussions, making it to where they stand around the ropes and he just like pulls the rope back and makes it hit them in the face, and lots of stuff against Oliver Gray being called a faggot and stuff, which is, a faggot and a pedophile, which is just like, why? There's a couple different stories about Enzo Amore being told that he should kill himself right after somebody had died or killed himself or something. Like, a lot of different stories now that are coming out again. And WWE made a little reference to this. They said that they had done some research in the past and that they pretty much exonerated him. Jericho supported him, and a couple other people have called him out on that. Jericho deleted that tweet eventually, because that's what you do. You say something, people get annoyed, and then you delete it. Side note, by the way,
you don't stand by what you tweet. You always get rid of it. That's the rule.
Side note about deleted tweets and stuff. Ziggler threw out a really good one. He said, "No offense to Seth Rollins, but Jon Stewart's the king of the ball shots." And then he deleted that because obviously it's referencing something WWE does not want anybody to know about.
That's fucking clever.
Yeah, he's good with that. So Ethan Carter, I could not say that without in my head going, Ethan Carter.
Come on, guys, EC3.
He's somebody who called Jericho out and said, this is bullshit and whatever, and a bunch of other people that I don't even recognize who the hell they are. That they did that. They all pretty much said that Billy Gunn and the other people that have run the developmental stuff in the past were all perfectly fine, but it's just Bill DeMott. So what should they do? Should they be firing Bill DeMott? It's all this bullshit. Are these just butthurt people that are blaming the one guy, or is this all true? And if it's true, do you stand for it?
I think it's a mixture of both. Mm-hmm. I do. Some of it, if this many people have came out and it's multiple, it isn't just he's targeting one person. There's multiple people stating this at this point. It's kind of like just like a few years ago when it came to and something that's not wrestling related, but the whole Sandusky situation at Penn State. Turned out multiple people knew about it, and yeah, except this is just multiple people just saying something at the same time, essentially. You need a dictatorial type of person, as it turns out, for something like what he does as a head trainer, because he's made some great stars in NXT. Like some of them, like just some great people. Granted, they're good wrestlers, but still, Rusev isn't anything special, and Rusev's character is down pat. And,
I'm just going to go ahead and disagree with you on there. Bill DeMott's good for breaking in new trainees, but as far as how these guys have gotten over, it's far from Bill DeMott. It's about how they've been produced by guys like Triple H.
Yeah,
like most people that have come to NXT as a success were already a success anyway.
Exactly. Oh, good point. Also, like I said, you need to have a dictatorial type guy. You need to, someone like that. You got to roughen the guys up. They have to show that they want to be there and that kind of thing. I understand that. However, if you're calling people get names and shit like that, something really terrible shit, like the ropes thing to the face, knocking people's heads around with concussions, especially in this day and age where you have a Chris Benoit type of thing, even though that's years ago now, but just a concussion type of thing right now. I think that's one example of a concussion gone too wrong. I'm just saying that concussions in general, it's not something to be taken lightly.
When concussions go too wrong.
Chris Benoit. But he's taking something lightly. That's a serious thing nowadays. And the media, I'm surprised the media hasn't gone all over that, because the media has a tendency, if you do something wrong with concussions, the media will just flag your ass.
Okay, if he's not getting fired over making them train naked, he's not getting fired. He's obviously
a proven guy.
Looked highly upon by somebody. Maybe a Triple H has taken a shine to him. But here's the thing about Bill DeMott. For as much negativity as there is out there, I can find positives. There's a lot of guys that speak highly of Bill DeMott. You've got Connor and Victor that have spoke highly of him. Adrian Neville's only got good things to say about him. So there's a lot of negative and there's a lot of positives. And where does the bullshit come in and where is the truth? Because we don't know how much of these reports are over-dramatized. We don't know what's reality and what isn't.
Plus, you also got to factor in, though, if Connor Victor and Adrian Neville and maybe some other ones, I don't know, if those guys are only saying positive things about that, they're still in WWE. The other guys that were saying the negative things aren't. So
don't worry.
He's not necessarily saying anything.
Oh, okay. I thought you said there was something about him.
The other people were saying that stuff had happened to him, that he was really picked on.
It probably was. He's scrawny as shit. It wouldn't surprise me if Bill picked on him.
So
you got to toughen people up like that to show that they fucking belong there. I don't blame him for that.
But a lot of these people, if they are still in WWE, they might not be saying anything just because they're afraid of losing their jobs. And the other guys
they're false.
Either or. I mean, and of course there could be people that are on the pro or anti side that are, muddling things up a little bit. You could have somebody like a Jericho who's like, it's not that bad, and he just doesn't witness it. And then you could have guys that are blowing it out of proportion, like everybody said. I could see this happening, though, especially when it comes to the derogatory speech patterns and stuff, and just being like, "Oh, don't do that," because apparently one of the phrases he says a lot is that's half a sissy way of doing something, and there's a lot of people that are in that kind of macho headset where if you can't do that, then that means you're a homosexual and whatever. And
Oh God.
I could see people like a Bill DeMott, an older kind of guy or whatever, using that as his normal speech patterns. And I am not somebody who gets really butthurt about that kind of stuff a whole lot, but for somebody,
if you are, you shouldn't be in wrestling.
yeah, to an extent.
I can imagine him shouting all that with a jelly donut in his mouth. Fat fuck.
But at the same time, if WWE wants to make a huge deal about other instances where that happens, then they need to take that into account for everything. Like, if they can make a big fuss over what Michael Cole did with, who was it, Josh Matthews or something? They sent out that tweet, too. It was supposed to be a direct message, and then he had to go to, like, counseling and stuff.
Well, that's because he had Glad on their butts, and they were trying to develop a relationship with Glad at the time.
Yeah, well, they've got Be a Star. Like, they should be able to hold everybody to accountable reasons for that.
Well, I still love that sign. Glad to be a coal miner.
That's a good sign.
Listen, here's the thing. Wrestling, as much as we all want to love it and think it's fun and entertaining, has a long history of being dark and seedy and awful, awful things happening behind the scenes that most of us don't even know happened, and the ones that we do know have happened are fucking atrocious. This is not the first time that one of WWE's trainers have done stuff like this.
Oh,
you go back
not.
to the early 90s, there was a humongous scandal. And pretty much people say the only thing that he came under fire for was the steroids. But that's not true at all. There was this massive scandal of some of the people back there attempting homosexuals with activities with some of the people. Pat Patterson, obviously, was one of the biggest people to come under fire for that. There's videos on YouTube you can see of Vince McMahon himself, Dave Meltzer, a few other people being on a panel and talking about the whole situation. I think it was on Donahue, and I think they were on Geraldo as well. It was an ugly situation.
You might know this better than me, Peyton, but as far as like trainers being rough with wrestlers, I've seen plenty of wrestlers get their ass kicked on the first day, like to see if they'd come back.
Mm-hmm.
There's a story out there that Hulk Hogan actually got his leg broken,
Mm-hmm.
like the first day of training, and
It was in
just
Japan.
to see if he'd come back and learn.
I don't know if that's actually true. I haven't found any pure evidence. That might just be one of Hulk Hogan's stories. It's certainly believable because Japan is take no shit. And if a guy like Hulk Hogan goes over there with a lot of star power in his head thinking that he's the shit, they'll definitely want to take that out of him. And it depends on who you go to. You go to the right dojo, they very likely could do something like that.
I mean, he has a right to be have a big head. He was going to be like the bassist for Metallica, right?
He was going to be big with Pastamania.
Bill DeMott's not the only guy who's like that. Bully Ray is said to be a lot like that with his training as well in his school.
Yeah, and all the stories about JBL backstage, Hardcore Holly.
Holly, yeah.
My favorite JBL story is the time where he was so drunk that Joey Styles was able to knock him out. What a prick.
Maybe Joey Styles should be in developmental training.
I'm pretty
show
sure
you how to do a really good international.
my favorite is when JBL was so drugged up that a blow-up dinosaur knocked him out.
I love that fucking segment. It's hilarious. If you haven't seen the Japan segment, it was fucking awesome.
So anal, huh?
So let's just say
Speaking
Bill
of
DeMott does get taken out. I doubt he will.
Dinner?
Taken out to dinner. Where would he eat?
Library?
Everywhere. Wherever the fuck he
Anal.
wants.
That was humorous. If he is taken away from that spot and whatever, we've mentioned William Regal, so I'm going to throw him out as we can't pick him. But who is somebody who you think could be the bad guy kind of role if that's what he is doing?
Undertaker.
He could
Robbie
be like
Brooks.
the real hard ass.
Oh, yes.
I could see that.
Robbie Brookside. They've already got a guy there. They can use him.
Who is Bobby Brookside?
Robbie Brookside. He is a British professional wrestler that was a hard ass. And
Hard
very well-
He's a construction tool.
I said Haas, not hat.
You definitely said hat.
I'm gonna go back and prove you wrong.
Oh,
Free
be
hat.
careful. There's some falling debris. You better bring it on your Robbie Brookside.
But yeah, the guy's a hard ass, and he is very well known amongst the wrestling community, and that's all they need. He's like one of the best in the business.
So Wigo goes Brookside, Payton goes Taker. What do you think, Drew? who's that hard hat and the
Well, any gimmick who they were a construction worker, they'd be a good one when it comes to being a hard hat. Hard ass, I might have to go with a Taker because you always hear good things from Taker about how he was a great role model for others and they learned so much from him. I think he'd be a
Locker room
good
leader.
person. Yeah, locker room leader, exactly. Maybe even if they were able to get on good terms with him again, Bob Corhali.
Why do I imagine
That's so
Taker
as well.
just get drunk every week and like hold wrestlers court against the new guys and just fuck with them? I can
Oh, no,
imagine.
I
sounds
can't imagine that.
I can imagine him just not giving a shit in his
I
retirement.
don't picture Taker getting drunk very much.
Yeah. I picture him being the type of guy that has like one beer with his meal. And it's like a specific beer that he really, really loves or something like that. Like his normal
Alamo.
life is probably odd. What was it?
To fuck
Alamo.
him, yeah, she's got to be
Alamo.
on.
He drinks Alamo beer.
He's like anything with skulls on it.
Hang on, I know who wore a hard hat. William Regal.
Regal.
So did the Shockmaster.
The Eliminator did it best.
He's just like lesson number 1. Look where you go if you're coming through a wall. Just it'll fuck up your career, I swear to God, guys.
I don't know. So,
Well, this is riveting.
how about that wrestling, yo?
Alrighty, that's gonna end us in. I don't know what happened at the end of this here, but I'm not editing it, so you guys get to hear it. Hot tags are over with. We're gonna take a break, and we're gonna get back and start talking about the mailbag questions you guys sent in. Who does the best spear in the company and the fantasy league trades?